It's Danu on Fire right here on High TV. It's in and out of Colombo for this season, and it's all made possible by our friends at LICC Jeans. Today we are in the heart of Colombo, and this is the Dutch Hospital, and I'm checking out Harpo's brilliant restaurant with one person who I really admire. It's Danu on Fire right here on High TV, your luxury channel, and I'm so happy. For me, this is an achievement. I've hit the mark. I'm happy to have Roshan Mahanama. I normally address him as uncle. I can't do that today. I'm going to stick to just no name in the equation. All right. So I think he's, in my opinion, one of the most biggest stars that cricket ever produced. We have had cricketers who are world-class cricketers, but very rarely you get a world-class cricketer plus a star in the mix. You're one of those initial ones.
Danu, thanks a lot for
the
kind introduction and also finally having me on a show or getting me to do an interview. There hasn't been anything in particular, but I've stayed away from the limelight for various reasons, and I prefer to lead a very low profile life by saying that I think I try to do my bit towards the less fortunate ones as and when possible. But today I was not in a position to say no to you because I've asked you for a favor which you kindly obliged, and I think I have to pay it back. So.
Oh, thanks. But telling the honest truth, one of the reasons why I wanted to have him is I have biggest regard for him. Just to give you a summary of, you would have seen him on screen, you would have seen him for those amazing catches that he does. Recently I went to Bangalore, and there's this one place that I go to buy my kurtas, and I love that shop. I always give a call before I go. And when I went there, they were like, this one guy who was serving me that time around, he said Sri Lanka, and I said yes. Oh, Lasit Malinga, Sanat Jayasuriya and Roshan Mahanama. And he's so young. And I said, how do you know Roshan Mahanama? Oh, my favorite cricketer back in the... And that is speaking some volume over the fact that he is like not even 20 right now.
That's why I think most of the kids who follow the game now, I don't think would have been born the time that
and some of the ones who are in the team are even born.
Yes. Some of the guys who are in the current team, and yesterday I was at a function. They were there to felicitate the Bangladesh team who just come here for a series, and I was telling somebody there, I don't think half of these boys know who we are because they wouldn't have been born during the time that we were playing. But sometimes you're obliged to go and attend these functions. But I'm glad still people remember, because we live in an era where memories are short-lived.
That is true. And also you come from an era where social media and Facebook didn't sort of rule the world.
For sure, and for people to still remember us, I think that's an achievement.
That's performance.
That's an achievement, because nowadays you're quite right, because of social media. I think they constantly keep reminding about people, either for the right reason or for the wrong reason.
Definitely. So, just to let you know, we are at the Fort Cafe. That's of course Harpo's Fort Cafe, one of my favorite restaurants. They serve delicious pizzas, they serve great food. He doesn't eat much, but anyway, I forced him to food. He said, just give me half a plate. So it's going to go on those lines. So to start things off, we'll get into cricket later on, but you are someone who is brought up with great principles, and you believe, yes, you have somehow nurtured that to your kids as well. And when you go into that home, you know it's a home and not a house. They believe in sharing conversation, they believe in sharing thoughts, food, everything is just full of love. And as somebody who knows the family, I'm asking you, how did you sort of keep this so in place, even with all the exposure that you have had? And you know, sometimes these things could get capture you and sort of grab you the wrong way. How did you sort of manage it?
Before I answer that question, Danu, I would have preferred if we had this interview in a club or at a place where there were less people. When I walked in, I said I don't mind playing in front of 100,000 people, but not walking into a restaurant full of people.
They are not listening.
Yeah, I think they're too busy eating.
Food is good.
Unfortunately, one of your colleagues took my phone away. I would have, or at some point, I'll get the phone and show you the reason that why I talk about values, honesty,
Your screensaver?
loyalty. That's my screensaver. He was my hero, my father. We lost him about 2 years ago. But not only him, even my first coach was pretty big on things like honesty, integrity, friendship, values, loyalty, so on and so forth. Discipline obviously is priority, and they also was able to get that message across to me to say that money should not come into the equation, because no sooner you put money in front in life, people compromise on all the other points which I just mentioned. Now today, why am I here? Right, to keep up to my word. Right, I don't think a lot of people think that way. I don't blame the youngsters. I blame the leaders and leaders of our country for that, because I don't think they walk the talk. And my father, my first coach, my parents for that matter, was able to instill that in me, and I'm sure because we closely associate, you might see that bit in me and maybe from the rest of the other family members. And I think I was pretty big on inculcating those values in my kids, because I think that's very important. We are in an era where we are losing values, and we need to get that message across as much as I can. And that's I've been pretty clear and firm on that with my kids.
We'll speak more, of course, because his wife is really special, and also about his CSR work on the other side. Do stay tuned. It's Danu on 5, made possible by our friends at LITC. Welcome back to the show. It's Danu on Fire right here on High TV, your luxury channel. We are here at the Dutch Fort Cafe, of course, Harpo's brilliant place where superfood is served. And I must say, I'm with Roshan Mahanama. So we have been talking about family and the ethics that come behind the science at home. Now, you like red, or your wife likes red?
Generally, I like blue, but I think it's my wife.
Yes, because your house is dominated with just red.
I think the kids complain as well, saying that it's all red. The vehicles have been red, and for some reason, I'm sure my wife Jiva, and not that I dislike a particular color, but maybe because from our small days we've been not from my small days, but from the time I started playing for Sri Lanka, ODI kids, everything is related to blue.
So she must be tired of it. She's like, any color except blue, please.
Sometimes they say now the kids have started to say any color except red. That's why we've realized now we've moved away in terms of the vehicles, moved away from the red.
So it's a bit of a change of scenery. And now I wanted to speak about your marriage. It happened at a very young age, because you all are such young grandparents.
I think I was 22 and Jiva was 19. People were saying that I was a cradle snatcher,
yes,
but
exactly.
It's just that I don't think a lot of people thought that our marriage will last for this long. And like I told you before, I'm still on my first innings compared to.
But it's always good to know that
it's
good to know that you became grandparents at this age. You can enjoy more.
Correct, and even with our kids, I think we could relate to them a lot more than. I don't. That's my view because that was the same
In terms of
same
age.
feeling that I had with my father and mother for that.
They were
matter,
also young,
because
is it, when they got married?
got married young. There's something that's very consistent in our family. It's very
Marriage.
I think that's marriage.
Yeah.
But if my grandson Divyesh goes to Nalanda, that's my old school, and I'm a proud
He has
Nalandian.
already gone to school?
No, I said if he
Oh,
goes,
that's what I was like,
because
oh.
the father Kalindu obviously was at Nalanda as well.
Yeah.
And if he goes to Nalanda, I'm talking about Divyesh, our grandson, it will be the 5th generation, and I don't think our school can say that many families can be proud that there have been 5 generations that have gone to the school, because school itself is 90 plus 94.
So you have somehow squeezed in 5 there.
So as I said, in terms of the marriage, I
Yeah.
think not only Jeeva and I, but my parents and the forefathers, everyone
All
been
kept it very young.
consistent.
And that's amazing.
And I think it's worked quite well for us. It's not easy sometimes when you're not at home, like I told you before as well. But I think we've got a very good understanding. If people are looking at marriage, I think it's quite important for them to see whether your partner or your future wife, your thinking is alike, in terms of your behavior, mannerisms, you're compatible, things like that. Yes, we were young, we didn't know. At the time, when you look back, now I think it's paid off, and we've got a very good family. We have a good understanding and 3 daughters. And you quite rightly said before about our eldest daughter Rashmika. And I think I need to get this message across to the viewers, and I'm sure there might be young parents. The mistake that we do sometimes is that we try to live our dreams through our children, and my father never did that. He allowed me to do something that I like, and I still remember I got through the O-levels. I just did O-levels for the sake of doing it, because from my small days what I wanted to do was to do sports, and I was keen on doing A-levels. Just before A-levels, I got a cricketing scholarship to go to England. So it was very difficult, and I went up to my father and asked, I said, this is what I've got, what do you think I should do? And he said, son, the choice is yours, but once you make up your mind, you can't look back.
You have to run with it.
You need to run with it. You need to work towards achieving your goals, dreams, and so on. So I managed to get that message across to the kids as well. You asked me before as well, and I said it's all about passing to the next generation. And my eldest daughter, she hates studying, right? And we never thought that she'll get through O-levels. She got through O-levels. She got through A-levels, and my only advice to the 3 of them was to be qualified. Then people will suddenly think, he's putting pressure for them to be qualified. I said, no. I said the qualification you can decide. It can be
whatever you want to do.
It can be through education, otherwise something that you
skill.
Exactly, a skill that you have. And I said choice is yours. But then when Rashmika wanted to get married to Kalindu, when she spoke to us, the only request was, by that time she had started SIMA, and for her to finish off her studies, because I just wanted her to have something. I said, don't look at the mother and think that life is going to be that rosy. I said, you need to be prepared to, and if things doesn't work, you should have something to fall back to. And she was slow, but she was getting through the exams, got to top SIMA, and she failed. By that time she was pregnant.
Yes.
And I remember she had this thing in her mind. She always says the Nangis are brainier than me. So she had this thing. I'm sure it could have been stored in the subconscious mind as well, and it sparks. So she crashed, and I can hear at home, there were things like, why do I have to do this?
Again.
I'm not going to again. I'm not going to work, and things like that. So,
but funnily, she's one brilliant cook. So is auntie.
But that's her passion as well, Rashmika.
God, they make the best cakes in the world.
So I didn't comment. I just thought I had told what I want from her, and it's up to her to decide what she should be doing. And after the birth of their first child, I think she decided to give one more shot and got the mother and the younger sister, Ruinya, to help with the kid. And I still remember she used to get Red Bull and things like that just to keep
herself going
because it's not easy when you have a kid.
Brilliant. We'll go for a break on that note. When we do come back, we're going to speak about his career in cricket a little bit, and at the same time about what he's doing in terms of giving back to society. More on the other side. It's Danu on Fire right here on High TV, made possible by our friends at LICC Jeans with Roshan Mahanama. And we were talking about everything that family means to him. And this segment is very special because I have to ask him one question. I don't know whether you remember, I think first or second time when I met you, you spoke about your cricket because I saw your wall of fame. And at the same time, I spoke to you about as to why you left cricket so abrupt. And you said, I have a book. Have you read it? And I said, no, I have not. I don't read books so often. So at the same time, what you did was remarkable because you said, I'll give you a book by next week because you said your stock was done. And next week I got it. And I was like, wow, for you to remember me, I was just a nothing bouncing around there. But it was so great. I was so grateful for that. I actually read the book. Tell me, cricket then and cricket now, and cricket in total in Sri Lanka.
I think it has changed. it has changed a lot.
Is it for the better? No, I'm not talking about the players. I'm talking about the corruption around it.
I think one of my colleagues, I can't remember who it was, reminded me. Apparently, I had told them that this will be the start and end of Sri Lanka cricket when we had won the World Cup. Right? I don't know what made me to say that. Maybe I would have sensed
something
then. Because at the time, yesterday also I had to remind somebody that when I walked into the cricket board for the first time, there are only 4 people working in the cricket board. I don't know exactly how many are working for the board now. I'm sure it must be hundreds or more than even thousands or lower. But if they have to work, that I have no problem. But I think what they need to do is to do the right thing by the game. I feel sorry for the players. In terms of talent, I don't think we are short of talent. No, I think it's the guidance. Why I say that is we can't beat a side like England if we didn't have talent. That's a good example. But I told you even before, for me, I was given a choice. I got a cricketing scholarship or I had to sit for my A-levels. Yes, I took a gamble at a time that the game was not popular.
Sri Lanka was not known for cricket at that level.
And that's a gamble that has paid off for me. Right? And I still remember I've been kicked out of class as well by my masters saying, Mahanama thamma cricket gaga inno. Right? I think they did that in good faith to get a message across. But I told you before as well, I lived my dream, so we never looked at the benefits that we were going to get. It's the passion, it's the love that you have for the game. I think nowadays people talk about the current players, the flashy lives they must be living, but I'm happy for them. Because people should remember a sportsman's career is very short. So you need to make that kind of money for you to live.
Sustain. I mean, you can't go back into another thing.
Correct. Because I was talking to somebody yesterday again at a function. He said, my son, apparently he's a good cricketer. He had got selected to one of the unis and he said he can't combine the two. Now he's decided to do a diploma or something somewhere else just to continue his cricket. And what happens is you need to decide between the two, and then you'll choose. If you choose cricket, then that 10 years you need to make the most. And we are only talking about the top 30 cricketers in the country. For us to select 30 cricketers, there must be thousands who are playing. What happens to the others? So there's no one. I was reading something on Cricket for today, whereas BCCI has included a player, Indian Players Association (IPA) into their cricket board constitution. They're making changes because at the end of the day, these people have to be looked after.
And also their talent needs to sort of...
Correct. And I don't mind if they bring in money, if the money goes to do the to the players, I have no problem because they are the ones who are bringing in, and people should not forget that cricket must be in the top few companies that brings in foreign exchange to the country.
Definitely.
Right, and it is not public funds, it's the funds. Yes, early days, I'm sure different governments, sports ministries or ministers would have supported for us to have come this far, but for a long time, from what I can remember, they because of the players, they get the funding, they get the money from the ICC. So I think that can be a problem because everyone's fighting to get into a board during a time where there's a cricket board TV rights issue. You know, and I think that is a problem that filters down to the players. And I don't think, I mentioned about my first coach, Mr. Nelson Mendes. There was another excellent coach. I'm only talking about one or two coaches whom I've associated with very closely. Mr. Nelson Mendes' brother Lionel Mendes. They spoke about discipline, spoke about the passion that you should have for the game. And I think what we need to instill in these players is the pride of doing something for your country. But if people who run cricket, they don't have that pride, how can that filter down to the players? Because people who are running also should have pride in doing something, because facts are stubborn. This is the most popular sport in the country. And you know, people might think that I'm bragging about cricket. No, I'm not, because
no, it's the truth. It's a drug.
It's the truth. I was listening to one of the priests had said recently in a sermon that he follows cricket because when he goes overseas, they talk about cricket and so on and so forth.
So he needs to get into all the conversation.
Yes. And also I think he's proud of the fact that in other countries they talk about cricket. And yes, in the good old days, maybe other commodities, or Sri Lanka was known because of other commodities, and then garments took over. But cricket is also up there in terms of promoting the country, and people who run the board also should have that feeling. Whereas we fight to get into a board, why are we fighting? Right? If you want to do something for the board, for the game, right, you don't have to fight.
It needs to come naturally.
Definitely. And from a player's point of view, I think generally all of us come from humble backgrounds, right? You want to make the most once you have taken the choice of going down this path, to make the maximum. So it's a very difficult situation now, but I hope people of authority will address the issue. I again want to reiterate, we don't lack talent. We do 100%. Have talent, but we want guidance. In the Western world, they need to promote the game because they compete with other sports. In Sri Lanka, we need to protect the game.
Definitely. And if you're wondering why he's wearing a pink t-shirt, because on Wednesday is where we are shooting. It's to create breast cancer awareness, which is great. Well, thank you so very much. I simply adore and respect this man so much. More than a cricketer, as a person, and for the principles that he follows, you can have your creme brulee. We need to wrap things up on the show. Thank you so very much for joining us. Big shout out to Harpo for his warmth and hospitality at any given time. Until we see you with another brilliant episode, it's adios.